Hi guys, welcome to DevOps School. In this video tutorial, we are going to learn about Ansible network modules. Ansible network modules can configure your network state, test and validate existing network state, and discover and correct network configuration drift. After going through this tutorial, I promise you that the concept and understanding of Ansible will be absolutely clear to you. This series divided into multiple parts, therefore subscribe to the channel and follow the playlist.
But before that, let me ask you a few things. Are you dreaming of a career with higher pay and more responsibilities? Or are you ready to take your skills to the next level this year? Then start investing in DevOps School certification level courses which will help you to emerge skills for a wide range of entry level roles and as well as higher potential future positions. But with thousands of courses online and in classroom worldwide, finding the right one for your career goals can be difficult. You can consider our courses like Agile Developer, Agile QA, DevOps Certified Professionals, Site Reliability Engineering, DevSecOps, and Masters in DevOps Engineering, where you will have access to well-structured, easy-to-follow course content that has been developed and will be delivered by industry professionals. You can join on our training programs globally through online platforms, and if you are looking for classroom workshops, then we have regular sessions available in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Delhi NCR, Mumbai, and in Pune. Simply compare our many courses, find the one that suits your style and schedule best, and start today.
Let's recap the little bit of things what we did the last day, and then we'll proceed further. So we started discussing about what is DevOps, correct? Then we got into that why we are all using the DevOps. So we discussed some of the stuff like some of the software model, software architecture. Uh, also we see that how we evolving and how we run application, how it is getting evolved over the period of time. So earlier we were running application physical VM, then now containers. Also discuss about the sort of software model like waterfall model, Agile, DevOps, DevSecOps, architecture like monolithic SOAM, microservices. Now also we discussed about how Ansible is playing good roles in DevOps, and everywhere when we see so many servers, so many environments, so many roles like a DB, application servers, load balancer, web server, and many more. How can I change a setup in 100 servers in one go? That was a problem, and that is where we got the Ansible. So Ansible is a configuration management tool from Red Hat, written in Python, two releases primarily, community and enterprise. Community is command line, enterprise is GUI based tower, we call it, that is a paid, powered by thousands of modules and roles. Again, we call it agentless. We had a discussion on this, so I don't call it agentless, but typically because of that now you know the answer why we call it agentless and why we call it with agent. Then we also understand about the server's configuration management, and then we got on to know that okay, Ansible can manage hardware, software, people, and process. For the hardware, again, Ansible uses a hypervisor, which is a software, and stuff like that. Then we discuss about why we use Ansible. So we understood like it's easy to learn, share, debug, test, and extend, and also it's a platform independent. Now Ansible is IDO important. We have also discussed about that. Then we discuss about the how Ansible works. So in Ansible we have three things: human, ACS, ARS. ACS, we call it Ansible control server, which has to be in a Linux 64-bit. That's where the Ansible is installed. And ARS can be any operating system, any 32-bit, 64-bit. Here Ansible is not installed, but when Ansible connect to Windows ARS, then WinRM need to be enabled. And when Ansible connect to the Linux ARS, SSH has to be enabled. These are the prerequisite in Windows. These are the software need to be there in a Linux. This is the But if you look at the stake, all this is found by default in every Linux and every Windows. So that way we consider it's agentless. Then we discuss about what are the role in Ansible, and we started discussing about, okay, we do the development and operations. Also developments, who's the developer in Ansible? So a person who would write a code and test a code, and for example playbooks and role. Okay, so developers will write a playbook or role, and operations, who's applying the playbook and role on the inventory. So now inventory and manage the authentications and authorizations. So yes, operations manage the inventory, authentication, authorizations, and many more. Then we also understand how we write a program. So we write in YAML. How this evolved through YAML, we also discussed. Correct. Then we also understand how to become a Java developer. And something similar, parallel, I try to create in Ansible also. So in Ansible, you have to install Ansible first, then write a YAML playbook. In the playbook, you need to learn variables, operators, conditioning, and looping. And playbook convert into the role. Role is nothing but a combination of playbooks, files, templates, handler, variable. All these things we will learn today. Okay. Now, in terms of other tools, we discuss these are the tools: Ansible, Puppet, Chef, Salt, CF Engine, not Chef Engine, CF Engine, CF Engine. Now, also we try to understand at the high level what is the difference between Ansible, Puppet, and Chef. Okay, and then we got into this components of an ACS. What are the component of ACS? And we discuss about, okay, Ansible ACS server has three components. One we call it Ansible. The second component we call it inventory, and third component we call it playbook and roles. So when you install Ansible, you get a modules and config that is there when we install Ansible. Inventory, we discuss about this inventory also. So we have understood inventory is localhost, list of IP address over command, list of IP address in file, list of IP address in a script or directory, inventory, and then playbook and roles. Then we started discussing a deep dive into the what is modules. So modules we discuss about, okay, it's nothing but a piece of code inbuilt in at ACS, which comes with the Ansible installation. Each module, it will do one work, and to function it requires a parameter. It can be written in any programming language, but for Linux we write Python. For Windows we use the PowerShell and .NET. Where I would find all these modules, we discuss all parameters. I'll show you the demo also. Then we discuss about the second component when you get the installation done, config. So what is a config? It's a file where it contains all the configuration of Ansible, Ansible behavior. The location which is there on the notepad is a default location. You can change it if you want it, but again you have to set the environment variable. Right now I'll not get into that. What is inventory? we discuss about that. It is just a concept which would have a following like a local host or blah 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 blah. So list of IP address is important. Then we started discussing about third component, playbook. And what is a playbook? Then we understand playbook is a collection of play, means multiple play, one or more, multiple play. And this is the format: play, 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 play. And each play, how you know that this is play. So YAML specification, if you study, you get it. But each play has a host and task. Host means what? So here it can be localhost or group. Group means list of server which is called group, which is there in inventory, specified in inventory. So group I'll talk about later on, but there's a two default group which you have got it, all and none group we are using. What is task? So task is nothing but a one module with their parameters. You put it in the list format. So this is a task. So like that, this has become a playbook. Now each play will have also variables, operators, conditioning and looping. And I'll show you during the demo. That is easier only. Now next question is, what is host? What is host? So it is a local host or group of the inventory, which is here, default, all and none group. And we also discuss about what is task. Then we discuss about how to install Ansible. And then we discuss about the project problem. What is your problem? Then convert into the pseudocode. For each pseudocode, we found out module. And for each module, we found out the parameter. I showed you and I discussed also what is the process to get a project and convert into pseudocode. And for each steps, you have to find out the module. This is a work which we have to do. For example, if you install your own software which is based on Java, probably you have to follow like this pseudocode. But we also understand, before going into the writing a playbook, let's do something different, because we don't write playbook all the time for small work. Maybe you want to do one activity, maybe you want to do two activity. Then we discuss about ad hoc commands. So what is ad hoc commands? So ad hoc commands primarily has three options. Section, we can call it, optional argument, connection, and privileges. This is called authentication, and this is called authorization, and these are the options. So we discuss, okay, we will do then the local host. When we do the local host, no authentication, no authorization. So we found out how to run the modules and pass their parameter. We did it. Then again we did it to the remote host. But when we do the remote host, then we have to have a authentication and authorization. And this is what I discussed, just to help you to understand that how can you authenticate, how can you authorize it. Authentication, typically SSH, user ID and password, or user ID and key. Authorization, sudo without a password, sudo with a password, sudo with a different user and password. And for each options we discussed here, this is authentication. This is authentication with user ID and password, user ID and key. Here, user with a key, user with a key. Here sudo, user with a key and authorization sudo. Here sudo with a password, and here sudo with a different user ID and password. So all options we we wrote here, and then finally, because our server scenario was user ID and key without authentication and authorization, this one. So only B worked for us. So we used it. And after that we got into the lab. So any questions so far? Any questions so far? Okay.
Rajesh, one quick question, one basic question.
Yeah.
So you explained what are the roles in Ansible, right? For dev and ops. For dev, you said a person who would write a code and test the code.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So what type of code that would be using Ansible, for it's to develop an infrastructure or manage the infrastructure? What kind of code would it be? It would be Rajesh.
Okay. So he will write up playbook and role. The code may contains how to set up, how to deploy these applications through Ansible, how to deploy web server, how to deploy app server, how to deploy database server, how to set up load balancer, how to configure web server, how to
Okay.
all this stuff. So typically in a development environment, we set up lots of environment. So one person who's called dev, he will automate all these tasks, and everyone will use that same Ansible rule and playbook to set up those software.
Okay.
So
So
manual
the Ansible is mostly used to automate the operation stuff, right?
mostly used, yeah, mostly used in the
Okay.
automation stuff. Many times IT team also use it.
Operations stuff. So
Yeah,
automate the operations stuff.
yeah.
Okay.
IT team also uses, for example, let's say if you want to deploy antivirus or something like that. But if you look at this enterprise-based antivirus, nowadays, IT tools, if you look at this, many tools, these kind of features comes along with it. For example, let's say Norton has an
Okay.
enterprise suite. So each agent which is installed in a machine as a acting like antivirus, they itself get it the rules from the server. So in that case, you don't need Ansible for it, because they have inbuilt feature. All these features are inbuilt to receiving the package from the central server.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. For uh, for clarity, what I actually wanted to know is, so we have CloudFormation and Terraform, like infrastructure as a code tools, uh, to develop infrastructure as a code, right? Terraform and the CloudFormation scripts. So Ansible is different from that. So it is not related to that one, right?
no, but both can be used with the combination. So, for example, it can be used. I'll tell you, MS Paint. So here, see that this is a, let's say, AWS, and you have used CloudFormation. Uh,
Okay.
just a second. You have used CloudFormation to set up an infra. So now you created a VPC inside this. I'm just giving you one dumb example. It may not be practical always. So this is a VPC. Let's say you created subnet, 2 subnet, 3 subnet, and then here you created a web server, app server, and database server. And here you created through VPC CF, you created machines. Okay. Now these are the machines you created. Now you have a two ways what to do inside a machines. What to do inside a machines. Correct now. So you have a two ways.
Okay.
One way is Why is not really selected? I click actually. Okay, yeah. So one way you in the cloud formation script, you provide the user data, and user data, you know that how it works. It is just like a shell scripting or PowerShell scripting. So you won't get an idiom potent functionality, which I discussed. User data has no properties as such. CloudFormation has that idempotent functionality, but user data, which is you are calling for each instance, you don't have that idempotent functionality. So instead of here user data, you provide the, let's say, shell scripting or PowerShell scripting in Windows. You should provide Ansible. So here Ansible will work efficiently. Getting opens.
Okay.
Because you want to do some 20-30 steps in order to set up a web server, app server, database server. That is where the Ansible will play a very important role. Now after that, what happens? First is done. Second time, you can't, you don't want to destroy the cloud formation. Will update the only the machines with the new configuration of AWS. I mean new instances, or if some modification can be possible, but cloud formation has no ability to change the inside the operating system.
Yeah.
Remember.
Okay. Got it.
So
Yeah.
that
So to develop the infrastructure, we can use cloud permission, and to configure the server inside the server, we can use Ansible effectively
right.
during the bootstrapping or during the server startup using user data. You can do it, right?
Yes, yes. And
Okay.
one more
Okay.
thing here is, uh, one more thing here is, uh, instead of cloud formation, if you can use Terraform, that will be superb combination, because
Yeah.
Terraform is very good. I mean, cloud formation is meant for AWS. It is very good, but if you have a multi-cloud, multi-tools infrastructure, then Terraform is best bet.
Yeah. Yeah. It clarifies my question. Thank you, Rajesh.
Okay, so now what we have to do? So again, let me just open up my flow so that way we all will be in a sync. Okay, so see here, we did it, this one and this one. So now we have to go little bit of this one and this one. That means ad hoc command is covered. Now we'll go into the inventory. So before that, do we have any questions as such? Any questions?
This is well and Raj.
Yes, tell me.
On day one, you show some number of plays in the playbook example. So what is the sequence of execution of the plays in the playbook?
Okay,
Will
so
that be imperative or declarative?
okay, so first thing is like I did not show you the demo, but I show you example of playbook. So playbook is still pending topic, but yeah, sequence for just to answer your question, sequence is always the way you write it. Top one will be executed first, and then followed by bottom one. But the thing is, it's a sequence like 1, 2, 3, 4. But can you impact the sequence? Yes, you can impact the sequence. You can have a handler, so you can call this include task, export task. You can have a conditioning, depends on many things are there, which will impact the sequence. In fact, sequence as a meta information is also available, which can impact the sequence.
Thank you, Rajesh.
So I have to get started with a demo directly. Okay, so let's get started. Because now not much of the discussion is pending, so directly we'll get into the demo. So what I am doing right now, I am trying to show you inventory. So today I'm deep diving into the inventory, and that's not very difficult topic. You will understand this within a, let's say, 15-20 minutes only. And ACS. Okay, so let's get started. Now the question is, what is Ansible inventory? So this is day 2. So if you have forgotten about the inventory, then you must remember again, and that is, here it is. Okay, so now this is just a file. It can be in a file also. So last time I provided over the command line, so if you hope you remember, here this is the command line, this is the command line, copy and paste it. Now the problem, you think why you need to move into from here to here, and you visualize the problem yourself only. So this is the command what we have now. Now you tell me, would you like to do something like this?
It should be like calling a file,
Yeah,
remote file instead of.
this is a problem. Now you have a problem, we have a solution. So it should not be a this way, because it's too complicated. One machine is okay, two machines is okay, local host is okay, but it's too many machines, it's not okay. So for that a we need a uh, inventory. So now I am going to get the inventory. So here let's connect to the machine 20. Many of you have already now how to work with this. Some of you I think had a problem yesterday and last day. 16, click apply. And let me improve this stuff. 16, click OK. Okay, so one more thing here is I'm not using the PPTs. Please do not mind. If you think we should go through the PPTs, that is also possible. But I feel this is a much faster and better for me and for students also, participants also. Okay, so now next thing is what I will do. So I have right now one machines. So what I will do, I'll create few more machines quickly just for the backup. Okay, launch. two machines I'm creating. This, okay, name Raj ARS. Security group, I am opening up everything. Default Rajesh Mumbai. Done. Okay, so here I got this machine. So let me get the IP address. Day 2 nodes. This is my first one, ARS, and this is my second one. So you saw that all together I got the three machines. So in my inventory. So here I said inventory is a file. It is a file. Yes, so it's a file. Now file inventory can be a file. Understand that. Can be a file also. Okay. Now here name of the file can be anything. Name of the file can be anything. So if you want to keep it any name, no problem. You can keep it any name. So you like, you keep it. But whatever the name you have or whatever the place, you have to pass in the -i parameter, which is this one. Okay. A location also, it can be anything. Location can be anything. Now last one is, this is a INI format. Now what is INI format? Basically just study little bit later. Now you don't need it. So in a notepad, no, most of the time whenever you write, that's INI format only, because every new line you give it, it's a correct new character is get introduced. So INI format is there. Now this is basically default. When we say default file, if you want to default file, then it is located at etc Ansible hosts. Remember, this is the file name. Now this is the default file. Okay, this, if you don't provide any -i options, okay, if you don't provide this one, so this will be red. Oh, that's a default location. And you know how to change the behavior of default inventory, everything through the Ansible CFG. So remember that one. And it is a file. It can be a file. The name of the file can be anything. Location can be anything. INI format and default. So now how do you create this file? So let me do that rather than talking. So here I am this location, okay, and here I go and install Ansible ACS. So here the steps are here. Don't do update this one. This is not good needed anymore because this will kill your time. So I again update the nodes, and others update is just a matter of few seconds. Done. So typically these are the steps. You can keep it in the cell scripting and run it also, because but I'm just teaching you, so I don't want to do automation stuff like that. Okay, so here this is the day 1, this is the day 2, and day 1 are done. You put it in the day 2 also. How to install? Okay, so now first let me show you this file. So this is the file location, ls etc ansible, and you see there is a one file which is host. You want to see this file? And here it is. You see that it's a good tutorial actually. You can refer it if you want it. But anyways, I'm here to teach you. So here, good day 2. Now that here this is important, the one which I'm teaching you. First, let me create an inventory file. So here I am creating inventory file, and here I'll have 3 machines. One, I didn't copy that. Inventory. So you got the 3 machines. I just said it can be a file. It is a list of IP address, but separated by new line. Okay, list of IP address separated by new line. This is it. Okay, so this is the inventory. 3 machines, you got it. Okay, so here now this will have a group inventory file, and I'm naming it inventory. Why? Because I said it can be anything, but just to I have a habit and I keep it like that only. So you can name it anything. Inventory would have group. Okay, inventory would have behavior parameter. Now what is this? I'll talk about it. Inventory file would have group of group also. That is possible. Group of group also. Now inventory would have I'll explain you what is a group of group. Inventory would have variables. Now what is a variables? I'm not covering now, but I will cover later. But for time being, for the discussion, I'm telling you inventory would have a variable also. Now let's go one by one. So here I said list inventory which has a list of IP address C by new line. So now I showed you this is the inventory, and here this is the one format of it. Okay, so I'll copy it here, and this you understand. This is the one inventory file. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to change this command. And
Just one question, like to be able to give the subnet range also in the inventory file instead of giving IP.
which one?
Subnet range.
I have not tried that one. Subnet range, giving the range of the subnet, but I can check if it is possible or not. To be
The
honest,
reason is, for example, suppose we want to run some health check on all the servers running in an environment. So IP, if we have more than 2000 servers, IP is not possible. So we want to give some kind of range, whether it might be a subnet or any IP.
then what you can do, you can you can write a queries which will query your a subnet and get the list of IP address available. Let me tell you here, I think this is a bad idea.
Okay.
Why it's a bad idea? Because if you set a subnet range, it not necessarily all the machines of the subnet range you have a physical machine present or virtual machine present or a container present, because subnet range is a range of the whole lot of IP address. You might not have those many IP addresses available with the associated with the host. So I doubt that option should be there, but let me check. So I can't find it in this, but I will research a little bit later also. But logically, I find this is not needed at all. You think only in a subnet range, typically we set 50,000 IP addresses, 30,000,
No, no.
10,000.
Yeah, sorry, I think the VMware people can correct me if I'm wrong, because we have a specific range of subnet reserved for the VMware instance, right? Pretty provision. Or that's what they do for OVM also. They reserve few subnet range for specific like EC2
No, that's
instance or
okay.
OVM.
You may create a subnet range for the limited IP address also, but how do you make sure that every IP has got allocated with some physical machine or virtual machines or containers? Because if the number of machines is not present, then it's just a waste of inventory. I mean execution time, right? It will be taking more timeout. Error will be more actually than successes. Okay.
I think we can provide a range of the last octet. Instead of providing the subnet, we
Yeah.
can provide a range of the last octet. And mainly we need to ensure that the inventory, the IP's presence in the inventory must be active. So because the Ansible will connect those IPs. If that IPs doesn't have any OS or any functionalities, then it will throw an error. No?
I think
No, the use case is suppose we want to run a health check for all our environment running in VMware or OVM or Linux machine. So we are grouping them. So how we should be able to do that using inventory? So that's the question I want.
okay, so I think quick searches is not inventory from subnet. Dynamic inventory, we know that, but in inventory file you cannot provide the subnet or the range also. Maybe if you have a certain thing, such requirement, you can write a dynamic script, which I said, which is possible, and you can put it up. But dynamic inventory is the only one way to get it. So I think that is the one thing which you can try. Okay, let's move on. So here, what I was saying to you is I got the one subnet. Now I have to try it out. So here I need keys actually. So keys are here in my location. So I have given you that key already. So how to use it and all. So I'm going to use it. So here vi remote.pm and save it. Chmod 600 remote. Okay, done. Now I am going to execute one command. So what to do here? So this code will be changed to with the subnet inventory supported code, and this is called like this. The file name is inventory, so I am putting up inventory is in current location of my command running, so it's in current location. So here, that's all. So now here every command will execute. Username and other things is also same, so no problem. Now let me run it. So I'm running against the 3 machines. It can be 3,000 machines also. It depends on the inventory. Okay. And here you see this option is coming. So what I will do, vi etc Ansible. By the way, it's not a good idea to disable that option. There are modules available which can say dynamic yes also. That is possible. So that is possible. So modules are available for that also. Host key check. Done. Here it's done. Now I will rerun this command. And it's installing in 3 different separate machine. Okay, done. First one, second one, enter. Now you see there's some problem. What is the problem? The index.html is not available. So that's my mistake. Index.html, and here welcome to DevOpsSchool.com. Saved it, rerun, done. And finally, I think, oh, sorry, by mistake I copied that one. Done. So now you see that inventory is the problem for multi-remote server. You saw that. Now, first let's validate and then we'll move on. So here, done, done, done. Now the problem here is all of this. This is the thing which I tried now. Now I don't want to copy this file to every machines, or let's say environment. Look at this here. This is the web environment. This is the app environment. Here database. So actually I don't want MySQL to be installed here also, here also, here also. You don't want Apache or Nginx to be installed here also, here also, here also. You don't want Tomcat to be installed here also, here also. So you want to have a layer. I mean, only here Nginx should be installed, here only Tomcat should be installed, and here MySQL should be installed. So this should be something that unnecessarily component you should not be installing. So how do we manage that? So, and here it's a app server. This is a web server. This is app server, and this is the DB server. So here we got a 3 group of machines. Okay, this is the whole environment, but we got a group of machine. Okay, so the question is, this is the problem which you are trying to fix, and I said here inventory would have a group. Now what is a group? Group is a list of IP addresses again. Okay, list of IP addresses again, and now that IP addresses will be a part of the group. Now before that I must tell you here, I want to ask you, okay, let me come back on this. So now convert this into the group. So here I converted VI inventory. I put it up here first. So how to convert this into the group? Same thing, same content. You put it into, let's say, web server, and DB server. So I got the 2 group. How to create group? Simple. Square bracket, name it, list of IP address. Now it can be your name also, guys. It can be host 1 also, like that. If it is a DNS name is resolving, host name is resolving, it can be that one also. So not a problem. So here, so this is the 1 machine, 2 machines, and 3rd machine I'm keeping in here, and db2 db.dd.com, something like that. If it is resolvable, it can be any name, so this has to be resolved from that ACS machine, remember. So it can be. So now you have got a group. So this is called 2 group. So I said here inventory would have a group. So there's a 1 group, there's 1 group. Now here you see, if you notice here, all the time I was installing in all the machines. Okay, so now first modify this. I did it and rerun it. See, DB2 was not reachable. 2 machines were successful, third machines also were successful, and DB3 also not reachable. So you saw that. So that file will come in the playbook. Okay, so here you saw that these machines, when I say all, understand that when I say all means it has taken these machines also, these machines also. Okay, so all is means all of the inventory, but this time I don't want to do all, I want to do only limited. This time web, I want to do web, means only 2 machines I want to run it, web. So here this is the web. Now so here I want to do web. So what I will do, I will change the file source code, my deployment packages, index, insert v2. v2 I made it, it's a new copy. I will copy it only in web. I change only in the web. Done. You see here, can I validate? See v2, can I check this? See, it's not done. So that way you can have a group. Now you know one thing, you can have a more group also. So I'll create a app also. So here one more group I'm adding, app. Okay, now this IP address I am putting inside here. Okay, so what you can do, you can do something like this also possible, because conceptually remember this inventory is nothing but a list of IP address which is getting passed. So I'll just tell you, let me change this first inventory. Now can you pass the 2 groups? Yes, possible. So here comma app, because remember inventory is nothing but a list of IP address over the command line separated by comma. So here this get the list of IP address, this get, so that is also possible. So if you want to do this, you can do this very well. So here copy, before that vi index 3, here, and let's validate. See 3 third machines, which is part of 58 and 58. So like this also you can do that. So here I talked about it, inventory would have a group. So guys, so far this much, did you understand that? Did you find any difficulties understanding this? Any questions?
Oh, it's clear, Rajesh. It's clear. It's very clear.
Okay, now next thing is behavior parameter. So what is a behavioral parameter?
Rajesh.
Yeah.
Rajesh. So inventory, can I name it as something like web server or database server, application server, or do I need to create a inventory?
No, it can be anything. No, look at the selected line. I said very clear.
The file name. No, the file name. Okay, then file name can be anything, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can be anything. I keep it inventory because of my habit actually, but you can have it anything. The default.
Hi Rajesh, Mohit.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Mohit here. So just a question about the file. So the file format should be the text file, right? Or
No,
it has to be something else?
INI format. INI format is you consider as a
.ini.
text file, but technical word is INI format. Yes, for in a simple way, text file, the one which you use in the notepad, that's INI format.
Okay.
Okay.
So can we have multiple inventory file?
Yes, you can have it multiple inventory file. That, but you have to call it only
And we
one
can
file at a
call-
time.
Okay.
I'm very curious for one thing. You gave me one questions and I have never tried actually. Just a second. That is, can I have here, let's say vi in env, and here I will give this machine as a this one. So there's one scenario which I'm trying actually when I never try this scenario, and you see that I will come to know whether it's possible or not. So here multiple file you cannot pass, but can we pass multiple I? Is it accepted or not? So let's check it out. So in uh, I and hyphen m. So this is the scenarios. By the way, you don't need this stuff because the way I'm the to the point which we are reaching, basically, that you don't need this whole stuff. Why? Because we have a better way to manage inventory. It's just like I'm teaching you all this thing because slowly I will complicate this stuff. So in the production we don't use like that. I'll teach you what we do. So okay, just a second, hold on. So I provided two inventory, okay, and in inventory here, you have a two machines, and I will delete this inventory remaining things. So here, that's all, and two machines I am having. And if you see here in env file, more env, you have one machines. Okay, now what I'm going to do, all. So let me try all. Two env I have provided, whether it's take three machines or not. So taken one machine, two machines, three machines. So it's taking actually. So yes, multiple I you can provide, but different file name you cannot provide. So that is one thing. Now that is possible. So multiple file you can provide, but
It will consider as one more group.
yeah, one more group. Yeah, that is it. Okay.
So we can have multiple same IP address in multiple groups, right?
Yeah, that's they first they consolidate it, and if that they have run it, they'll skip those machines.
No, for
Let's say
multiple groups.
if you have same okay, multiple group in the same with the same name.
Yeah, within a inventory file, I have multiple groups, and I can repeat the same IP address in each group.
That is possible, but
Right?
next
So
next will be
I'll be using different purpose for the group, right?
yeah.
It should be possible.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's move on to the next thing. So here I said behavioral parameter. What is a behavioral parameter? So we'll first understand the problem and then we'll understand the solution. Problem is very simple, and the problem will have, think about it. Problem will have, think about it here. If you remember, I said the behavior of each host may not be same, because most of the time you'll be same, but it may not. For example, if you remember, this is the day one content, and here I'm talking about authentication authorization. Where is that? Look at this. So see here, if you look at the command, our command, we are taking very much granted that all machines of this inventory, okay, this is a group by the way, will have a username user, EC2 user, and this key. We are taking granted, okay. We are taking granted that all the authorization will be having sudo without a password. It may with a password also, it may with a different user and password. Correct? Huh? Getting my points? Yeah. We are taking a granted for many things. Each host may have different user and password. I'll put it in this way: different user, password, key, pseudo behavior. Okay. Now SSH port also. Yeah. So right now we are taking granted default port which is SSH for every machines, and that is true. Is true. But sometime what happened, for the security reason, maybe you have started the SSH service on not 22 port but 23 port, 28 port, or some other port. So SSH port. My now we have taken a default behavior, say which Python, this is the default path in each machine. But if I see that Python hyphen version 2.7.5, maybe module, the one which I am executing, we required Python 3. So what will happen? This will fail. Correct? This will fail. So Python, we want to change it. Python, we want to change it. Maybe shell which you are using, which shell, which dollar shell, echo, which is set actually. Shell is a win bash, but maybe you want sh, con shell, she shell, or something like that. So each host, what we are doing through this command, we are taking generalized approach. That means each machines which we are using here will have a same user, same password, same keys, same behavior, pseudo behavior, same SS port, same Python interpreter, and many more. But in real time, in your production environment, it may not be true. Are you getting my points? It may not be true. Did you understand the
Yeah,
problem?
Rajesh, got it.
Now the
Yes.
solution is behavior parameter. Okay, solution is behavioral parameter for all this problem. Host behavior parameter. Now, how can we fix it? Very simple. So here, I can only talk about this feature. May not be able to show you because all of machines are in a different, same parameter. So here, behavior parameter. Here is the URL. Now, how do you write this here? Your things. So let me put it up. This is my inventory. Let's say look at this very carefully. I said right actually. Host behavior parameter. Okay. So now what I'm doing actually, what is a behavior parameter? So here this is the URL. which I ask you to refer it during the lab time. So here what I am going to do, each of the behavior I'm trying with a different. How do we try? Look at this here. Here these are the behavior Ansible connection options. So here there are three options available: Smart, SSH, Param-Echo. Param-Echo is an agent actually. Okay, so when we were talking about the agent less, no, Ansible has an agent and which is a Param-Echo. You should try it out. Okay, uh, when you need it. Param-Echo is agent. So whether you want connection from machine from ACS to ARS through SSH, Smart, or Param-Echo, you have to define it. Okay, the default is Smart. It is a slight version of SSH. Okay, now if you think, okay, you want to connect with the Param-Echo, so what I'm going to do is fake IP address I'm creating just to help you. 52, 53, 54, 55. This is my inventory, and if you want, connection should be that Param-Echo. So what you should do is equal to Param-Echo. Simple. Now this is the behavior. So whatever you are passing here will be ignored, and you will be having highest precedence. Now, which will be having highest precedence, which will not be having highest precedence, we'll discuss about it, all this thing one by one. Now you see here what happens. Here you say the name of the host to connect to if they're different from the aliases wish to give it. So what you can do, Ansible host, you can type it, and you can type it here, and is equal to, you can say that 60. So what happens, you don't have to change this name all the time, but you can change the IP address. So that means the moment it hit here, it go and hit this place. So that way you can check this host. Now Ansible port, let's say this machine, the port is not 2223, so you can pass this here. Ansible user, let's say Ansible user, which is EC2-user for me, so is equal to EC2. Here this will be true for this one also. Okay, this one will be true for this one also, but this one will be true for, let's say, root. Here it may be user1, something like this. Now if you see here, you have a password, SSH password, key file. So now let me tell you here, these are the authentications. Okay, these are the authorizations. Okay, so if you think you have a different user, so first you log in, this is the username. Now you have a password, either you pass password, but if you have a keys, okay, then you have to pass keys is equal to remote.pm. Now authentication with the password, authentication with the key. Now authorization. So if you have a sudo without a password, if you remember sudo without a password, again remember this scenario I explained you. Without a password, then you want to become a sudo. What is a sudo? So here Ansible become, see here, Ansible become is equal to yes. But here if you have a sudo with a password, then you have to try Ansible become yes, and Ansible become password is equal to password. So what I'm trying to tell you here is, see here, all these options are, there's so many options are there. Here, escalation, authentication. Now if you want to change the Ansible shell type, you can change it. Python interpreter, you can change that. Shell executable, you can change that. Okay, and local and Docker we'll talk about later. So many things you can change it. See here, many things. Here this is the host name, and the behavior parameter. So any options, if you want to change it, you can change it. Did you understand that? What is a behavioral parameter?
Yeah. Yeah,
Any
Rajesh. It's tab or space
It's a space,
between the
not a
parameter and
space.
Okay.
Okay. So any options you can.
So, yeah, Rajesh, when we talk about behavioral, all we discuss here is how the connection establishment, authentication, authorization. But if I say I want to verify whether it's a Linux environment or Windows environment, that kind of behavior, this can be done using the inventory.
See,
Because I want.
so you can keep the Windows machines and Linux machine in the same inventory, but options will be different here. This is called an Ansible connection type. Let me see if you have it. In these documents, you don't have that. Ansible connection will be Windows here, WinRM, sorry. So which you don't have right now. So Windows part I'll talk about little later, but this see here. I told you, if you remember, uh, ACS, which is Linux, if ARS, which is Windows, they connect through the WinRM. So here connection, Ansible connection should be WinRM, but here those options are not available because this is limited to the Linux. For the Windows part, it has to be WinRM. But now I'll come back to the Windows part. Many things will change, uh, like authentication type will change. Here authentication type is SSH. In this WinRM, mode also will change, port also will change, and username and password, all this thing will change. So I'll talk about that Windows, but in the same inventory you can.
When we talk about this, right, we talk about the authorization and authentication, the behavior, inventory behavior. Apart from authentication, authorization, any other things can be performed?
No, I said many things here. See here, you can pass the shell also, Python also, Python location. You can pass that uh, shell type also. Okay, so many things you can pass it here. All this list you have it here.
Should we follow any order, Rajesh?
No, there's no problem with the order. You should be, remember,
How it will?
each
Okay.
each
Go ahead.
options each options will be against the host, so no problem here.
Okay. So yeah, all are unique keys. So
Yeah, these are the fixed one.
okay.
So now guys, I have to
Okay.
convert this into my things. So here I will go for web and app. So here key file, did we have it? And I'll remove these two. Done. Now you don't have to provide over the command line. And -v means B also removed. Done. So your code is become smaller. So now this is the inventory parameters, behavioral parameters. I'm copying it, and here vi inventory, changing this. Done. Can I run it? Web app, both the machines, both the group of machines. 58, obvious error has come because of no authentication method are available. So here I do not provide that all this information, so it failed it. it obvious it will fail. So see, so now this is clear, this is clear. So now you don't have to provide over that command line, that's option available. Ansible is very flexible. It's up to you to define. So this is the behavior parameter. So now this is also done. Now
One simple question, Rajesh.
Mhm.
The username and password. So the password will be the clear text, or how you can encrypt it, or any option.
So this is a very good question. So I think you have a security in your mind. So yes, here the password, whatever you specify, will be as it is the password what you have. But the question is how to protect this file. This file is very important, right? And you have a password. You may have a password here. This is the password. You may pass the password. Anyone can see that. So is there any way to protect? And in Ansible provide Ansible Vault. Ansible Vault is a tool to protect the password from the transferring over the network and get compromised. Now the question is, what is a vault? How to use it? It's very simple, but I will come back to that topic probably fourth day. That way, because Ansible Vault is a separate tool, which is not either part of the Ansible. So I'll come on the fourth day. Okay, but answer is Vault
Okay.
things. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Okay, now you saw that I talked about this one. Let me finish this one also, because it's very simple. Now inventory would have a group of group. So what here you will have, first thing, tell me one thing. So here I will create group of group, and here I will create web, and here app. So tell me, what is a GOG? What is a GOG? Think about it. What is a GOG?
It's a group.
And what is a web?
It's a group.
Think about it one more time. What is a GOG?
It's a group, and web. It's a like an
Host
element.
name.
Host name.
Are you sure?
Like
Group of groups.
It's two groups in the same group.
It seems like web and app are the host name within a GOG group.
Wonderful. Yes, guys. Don't mistake.
Combination of the.
Yeah. Don't mistake this one. I said here, whenever you how to declare the group, just put it up that. Okay. How to declare host? Put it over there. It can be your domain name also. It can be your IP address. So in that logic, app is a host name. Web is a host name. Don't mistake. Don't mistake. Again, I'm repeating. GOG is a group name. Web is a host name. App is a host name. But I'll call it this one GOF. And here GOG, the moment you add children, this is the fixed one, okay? Understand that. The moment you add children, then it becomes group. Then the moment you say children, that means GOG has a children, then it become a group of group. So here web is a group, app is a group. Did you understand the difference between these two?
Yeah, Rajesh.
Yeah. So now you completed the group of groups also. So here what I'm trying right now, I will try not this way, but here GOG, 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 and here GOG two group, web and app. This one will fail, two will pass. So I want it that intensity.
Because you didn't update in inventory.
sorry. Yeah, my mistake. See, one is done, second one is done, one is failed. Okay, found both group and host with the name web and app. So here this is warning. What is this? Because I have set host name also web, group name also web, but it worked because of I only call the GOG, not GOF or whatever it is. But this is a warning. They are giving you information. You are doing the wrong practice. So that's so guys, this is the group of groups. So now you imagine how can you manage the multiple complex environment. How can you manage multiple complex environment? So here here just imagine here you have a very complex environment, okay, and you have a, let's say, app server, multiple machines, web server, database server, load balancer, CDN server, some sort of log server, and multiple machines are there in this. Multiple machines are there. So you can manage such a complex and different kind of server. Admin can manage. This is the admin responsibility. Manage this. So this is your inventory. It is a file. Name of the file can be anything. Location also can be anything. INF format. Default file, which I don't use anytime. You can use it if you want. List of IP address separated by new line. Has a group, behavior parameter, group. It has a variable also, but variable is a separate topic I'll talk about later. So did you understand that whole things together? Any questions? Any doubts? Guys, did you understand this?
Yes, Rajesh.
Okay, so now we have completed this one also and this one also. Now after the lab, okay, we'll go into the playbook. That's the topic for the day. So same thing, whatever I did, you have to do that. And now you have to do something else also. What are those stuff?
If you liked our Ansible session so far, please enroll for our channel membership $399 plan to get access of all the parts. Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the $399 plan and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.